Following the humiliation of Portman Road on Tuesday night, Rovers owe themselves and the supporters a good performance this weekend. With almost 1,000 miles on the clock in the past week and no points to show for it, home comforts could be crucial as Richie Wellens' side go in search of their second league victory of the season. They take on an MK Dons side who are currently the division's leading scorers, with an entertaining game in prospect at the Keepmoat Stadium. It's the final fixture before another international break as Rovers take on MK Dons. Hello everybody, welcome back to the latest edition of the Inside Rovers pre-match show. Rovers taking on MK Dons at the Keepmoat this weekend. Joining me to look ahead to that one, Alex Gibbons and Rovers fullback Charlie Seaman. Charlie, first of all, joining us as we're filming this on your birthday. Many happy returns. How are the legs after almost 1,000 miles on the road in the past week?
They feel all right. Obviously, I didn't play either of the games, but we had a good training session today. I felt good. I felt sharp. So obviously, it was tough for the boys that played 290 minutes and then travelled God knows how many miles. So obviously, today they got in their recovery and we had a day off yesterday. So hopefully everyone's ready to go for Saturday.
Yeah, busy show coming up tonight. Then let's take a look at what to expect. We'll hear from boss Richie Wellens on how his side have reacted in adversity this week. We go back in time ahead of Rovers' 142nd birthday on Sunday. Across Club Doncaster, we'll take a look at how the Dons booked their place in the Betfred League One playoff semi-final. And we have the latest away fans feature as Aaron Challoner chats to MK Dons fan Colin on what we can expect from the free-scoring Dons. The Rovers set for their fourth home league game then this season. It seems like they haven't been at home for a while. They've, of course, had 6 games on the road already this season. Alex, in the last 2 home games, Rovers haven't conceded and picked up 4 points. Of course, in between those, there have been some disappointing defeats on the road. How big is this one at the weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be massive. Obviously, it'd be nice for the lads to be back at home. They've had a couple of long away trips that, haven't gone to plan, but like I say, not conceded in the last 2 home games in the league, and hopefully they can build on that. Now, obviously, it's going to be a difficult test coming up against the Milton Keynes side that are flying up the top end of the table, but Rovers need to pick some points up and get on the board.
Charlie, it's been a strange start, hasn't it, given how the fixtures have been put out there. Rovers have had a lot of tough away trips, and as I said, just the 3 home games so far. Normally by now, if you're coming up to the 10 league game mark, you would have expected at least half of those to be at the Keepmoat.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, everyone enjoys playing at home with the fans, and obviously, it's your home ground, so you feel at home, you feel comfortable. But we're at home on Saturday, so hopefully we can put in a good performance, and obviously the fans will be a big part of that. So everyone's looking forward to it.
Alex, Richie Wellens, of course, laid his chest bare, I suppose, on Tuesday night, and it was fairly obvious how frustrated he was. I think the less said about the performance and result in the end, the better. But he's talked, as we'll see shortly, how his team have responded, and he's seen what he wanted today, on Thursday in particular, and then I'm sure on Friday there'll be plenty of work done on making sure that they all know the roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, it's so early on into the season, and while everyone's going to be disappointed with where Rovers are at the minute, there is still a long way to go, and I think fans maybe forget that, or other people on the outside forget about that at times. So, like I said, there's a long way to go, and there'll be a lot of work that's gone in between the defeat on Tuesday and then the game on Saturday. Rovers will be pleased to be back at home, like we say, with the fans there. Not 2 very long trips away, 1,000 miles covered, and to have a handful of fans there who it's great for them to show the support at those games. But now hopefully they can see a win at home as well.
Charlie, I know you didn't get on the pitch at Plymouth or Ipswich, but just how challenging is it to have those 2 games, particularly back-to-back Saturday, Tuesday as well? It's tiring to just have one, isn't it, in a week's space? But to go Plymouth, then Ipswich, and then be asked to then turn it around for another game this weekend, a lot of the boys will need to manage themselves well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, obviously we had a day off yesterday after getting home quite late the day before. The boys today obviously done a lot of recovery as well. The boys that obviously didn't play much had a bit of a longer session to get more into our legs. So we're sort of on the same page as everyone else. But it's just about recovering right, eating right, doing the right things off the training pitch, off the match field, and making sure you're ready to keep going, because every season is going to be the same. You're going to have games Tuesday, Saturday. There's cup games as well you've got to be involved in. So obviously as a professional, you just got to be ready. It's part of your job. So obviously, like I said, hopefully everyone's ready to go against MK Dons, and we're all looking forward to putting in a good performance.
And of course, you have had to be ready several occasions this season, not used really in your sort of traditional right back role, but more often up the right flank and in attacking roles. You scored Rovers' first goal of the league campaign. When that went in, you must have envisaged a much more positive start for the team than what it's turned out. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, for me, obviously, it's great to start, make my debut and score, and obviously play as many games as I have so far, which I didn't expect, but I've enjoyed it. Obviously, we haven't got off to the start we wanted. It's really up to us. The only people that can change it is us. We had a good meeting today with the team, like the boys, explaining what needs to be done for us to improve as a team, what needs to be done to make us better on and off the pitch. And hopefully that will really help us going into Saturday, where we can sort of bounce back from Tuesday. Because Tuesday was unacceptable, but you can't dwell too much on a performance, although, like I said, it wasn't good enough. You got to keep going. There's another 40 games this season to play. And if we keep focusing on one game at a time, then that's how we're going to build. So we can focus on Saturday, get a good result Saturday, and then we can build from there. Yeah, Richie Wellens faced the media on Thursday ahead of another big home game this weekend. And here's what he had to say on that one.
I'm a fighter. I'm going to fight. I want to make sure that the players respond to what happens. We've only had 3 home games in the league. We've got a couple coming up now that we need the supporters on our side. The players need the supporters on their side. They need the support. We need to improve. The biggest thing that's come, we need to improve our reactions from the scoreline. So whether we go 1-0 up or whether we go 1-0 down, or we concede a goal or we score a goal, it's changing our mentality and it's changing the way that we're playing. So that's something that we need to improve. You respond from any loss, whether it be 6-0 or 1-0, you recover it in the right way. You fight, you make sure you do your homework, you make sure you do the work on the training ground, and you respond in the right way.
What kind of game do you expect against MK Dons?
Well, technically very good. Again, another club that has spent a lot of money. With Russell Martin, obviously Russell Martin left quite late after he'd done all his recruitment, but technically, in terms of passing the ball, probably up there with the best team in the league.
So Charlie, the manager, as always, is honest in his assessment of games and what he expects from the opposition. He sort of said on Tuesday night that he'd spoken to the lads and said, listen, I need you to show me something here, like and back me, do you know what I mean? And that must have been, for a young player like yourself as well, pretty open and honest for you to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, no matter what career you're in, you want to have a boss, a manager that's straightforward with you, That's the one thing I love about the manager. If he doesn't think we've been good enough, he'll tell us. I don't think football's a sport where you can beat around the bush and tell people they've done well when they haven't, because that's not how you progress. You need to know when you've played well. You need to know when you've not played well, and then that's how you improve. Because you can sit back, watch your games. You can sit as a team and go, okay, we haven't done X, Y, Z well. How can we do it better the next game? And if you've got a manager that sits down and says to you, okay, we've done this wrong, we've done this right, then that's how you know how to improve the next time. Like I said, the game Tuesday, we all know what we did wrong, and that's how we can build as a team and learn from our mistakes going into Saturday.
Alex, I don't think anyone will mind us saying it. In some ways, it was that bad on Tuesday night that things can only get better from Rovers' point of view, particularly, I suppose, in defensive areas as well. We've heard since from Richie Wellens that Tom Anderson was suffering with concussion, and when you watch the game back, that had perhaps led to him going into areas that he wouldn't normally, which when you look at that, if you've got a fully fit skipper, perhaps it's not quite as bad as it ended up at Portman Road.
Yeah, me and yourself both said it on our follow on Tuesday. It couldn't have gone any worse, really, from all aspects of the pitch. And when Richie Wellens has come out on Thursday and said that the captain suffering concussion, and likewise Joe Oliver as well. So they're 2 out of 3 centre halves that were on the pitch in the second half, and that obviously doesn't help when things aren't going your way as well. So yeah, it's something that Rovers will have to be obviously wary of. But like I say, things can only get better now, and hopefully with the work that's gone on in the week, like we say, that Rich is putting on, he made a big point, didn't he, on Tuesday night of taking the blame, but also obviously saying that the players obviously need to take accountability as well. And, you can see obviously how much it does mean to him being a former player of the club, and he's been successful. He was obviously saying that as well. So for him to build on that and take that back to the squad as well, that's something that, hopefully Rovers can improve from.
Charlie, in times like this, you always look for your more experienced players. And in this squad, you would think Tommy Rowe, Tom Anderson, even Ben Close, I suppose, still in his early 20s. But as young players, do you have to find that within yourself and sort of take on responsibility at times like this as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, us young boys are still learning. Thiago is only 18, for example. Like, you're still learning the game. I've only played 8 games for this club. So I'm learning every single game that goes past. Even when I'm not playing, I'm still watching and trying to learn from the players in my position. I'm trying to watch Noilly and see what he's doing. I'm trying to watch Joe and see what he's doing in the right wing position, just so I can see what I can do better when I play. But you can't always put it down to the older players sort of guiding you through things. You've got to sort of learn that out. You've got to learn that yourself. I think in football, you've got to learn how to adapt very quickly, and like going down 1-0, going up 1-0. That's another thing to adapt from. And sometimes you can't always look to your older players to think, okay, what do we do now? You've got to know yourself. And like I said about the meeting we had today, that was another thing we brought up in terms of taking accountability for ourselves, being your own man and sort of knowing what you need to do on the pitch to get a result.
And of course, for you, the position you play for 45 minutes of a game, you've got the manager and his assistant in your ear, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it's a great help having them there, but the manager and the assistant and whoever else is on the sideline can't do everything for you. As a team, we've got to work together. We've got to communicate and make sure everyone knows what they're doing. And as a player, you've got to know your jobs. Like, before you go out, you've got to check your set pieces. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to check the game plan, know what you're doing, and make sure when you go out on that pitch that you know every job you need to do to make sure you have the best game possible.
Now, Sunday marks the 142nd anniversary of Doncaster Rovers. Here's a brief look at how and why the football club was formed all those years ago.
In 1879, a master at the Doncaster School for the Deaf asked Albert Jenkins, a worker at the Great Northern Railway Engineering Works, if he could gather a team to play a friendly football match against the boys from the school. Jenkins' team, made up of fellow rail workers, trailed 4-0 at half-time, but a change of formation meant the match ended 4-4. Written in 1896, an article in the Doncaster Review said about the game, naturally the railway workers were greatly elated at their success, and on the way back to town they halted under the wall that separates Elmfield Park from Hallcross Hill and held an impromptu meeting, and there and then formed themselves into a club, giving themselves the name of Doncaster Rovers. More than 150 years of history, more than 140 years of highs and lows, all of the joy and heartbreak was all made possible because of that match.
So Charlie, the club's 142nd birthday at the weekend. You've, of course, been a part of it for a year or so, but only really made your mark in the past few weeks. What was it like last season after you signing and then going straight out on loan? The fans have obviously heard your name mentioned, but then had to wait 12 months before they saw you in action.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I remember the first interview I had with you, I said me going out on loan was by far the best thing for me to do. And that obviously showed at the time. Like, I done well on my loan. I came back. I trained well. Obviously, like you said, I couldn't play, but I tried to make a name for myself in terms of on the training pitch every day and getting involved with the squad and trying to help the squad as much as I could, even though I couldn't play. But the loan for me was obviously great to build my confidence back up, to get that match fitness back. And then obviously in the off season, I worked as hard as I could to make sure I came back here in the right shape. And then going into the season, like I said before, making my debut and everything was like a dream come true. But I've just got to get myself back in the team. I've got to make sure my levels are high every single day and see if I can stay in the team, because that's what I want to do this season.
We spoke to Noel Hunt about how important it is for young players to go out and experience men's football at whatever the level. Of course, your technical ability and your footballing ability was probably better than the level you were playing at last season, but that experience of just being alongside men and playing against men who are much older than you can only benefit you, can't it, in the long run?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think for young players as well, it's like you can't build confidence without playing games. Like, you can train all you want, but if you don't go out and play games and be seen and play in front of fans and play with older people, like you said, you'll never get used to that training on a pitch every day. Do you know what I mean? You need to be you need to see it yourself. And the best thing for me was to be around those people. Like you said, no matter what level you're playing, it's still just the confidence of scoring goals, having good games, playing with different people, living in a different area. You learn so many different things. And the main thing for me, take away the tactical, the technical side. I could have been the best player on the pitch every single week, but that for me wasn't what I took from it. The thing that took from it was the confidence, which I really needed at the time, because obviously with the COVID and everything, the world was a bit sort of down in the dumps kind of thing. So just coming out and being able to play football week in, week out was brilliant for me.
Alex, the coaching staff now in particular, of course, they've had an addition this week with Paul Green coming in as the club's new fitness coach. To have Green and Wellens as part of the coaching staff, of course, James Coppinger in the background, I should say, as well. They know all about this football club and one of the best periods in its history. That's going to be crucial, isn't it, in then taking it forward and getting it back to that sort of level again? Yeah,
of course, and it's about getting that to the current crop of players now as well. You mentioned those three there in the manager, obviously Richie Wellens and then James Coppinger and now Paul Green. They were part of the squad that won promotion from League One. Was it 12 years or so ago now? So they know what the club's about, and obviously in the period that they're in at the minute as well, being at the bottom of the table, perhaps you need figures like that around you, and knowing what it means to the fans, knowing what it means to the club, and having those bodies around with the additions of the likes of Noel Hunt, Paul Gerrard, who are both experienced within the game. That experience can only help the rest of the lads as well.
Across Club Doncaster for a moment or two then, it's been a good few weeks for Doncaster Rugby League Club, who head to Keighley Cougars in the Betfred League One playoffs this weekend. Let's take a look at how they reached the semi-finals.
Really strong carry, pushing Doncaster right back under the sticks. Ashell's the dummy half. Back into the hands of Geordie Gibson, and then a knock on. No, the referee says play on, and they will play on. And it's picked up, and Doncaster scamper clear and look for support. They're going to get it straight off the error. Is it the ultimate atonement for the fullback down this near side? Yes, it is! Leon Tyndall at one end of the pitch has knocked on, and within 30 seconds scores down the other end. What a sequence of events, and Doncaster have the lead by 4 points to 0. But they're reeling early, and the ball movement is swift, and the gaps open up, and they've got another one. Just like that, back to back for Doncaster, and it's Aaron Ollett Hobson to put Doncaster into double figures. The options on the left-hand side, it's Peltier, the big man. He won't be stopped. 3 attacks, 3 tries. And it's the big fella, Ross Peltier, to put Doncaster in dreamland. Well, not to concede a 4th try, because here come Doncaster, delayed ball from Beharrell, and they do pile over for another score. Just like that, Brandon Douglas helps himself to number 4. And Doncaster are crushing the Crusaders here at Stadium Zip World. Matty Beharrell. That's a loose one though, but it's picked up by the fullback in those lime green boots. Steps out of a couple and then slips under the 3rd. Referee says play on. This could be the strangest try of the season. He's still going. Can he get there and put the ball down? He is a square root of an inch short. Little grubber kick on his own. Oh, out of absolutely nothing. What a score that is. Ben Cockayne for try number 5. So inventive, so surprising, and so demoralising now for Crusaders. And surely their race is run. Geordie Gibson's the danger man. Here he is. Another grubber kick through. Doncaster have made a mess of it. Can they get the ball down? Yes, they can. Try before the break for the home side. It might already be too little too late. But there's the noise. There's the Crusaders' roar. And there's the first 4 points on their scoreboard this afternoon. Back away to first receiver. They go short ball though, and look to power over from close range. Referee's going to give this, and the Crusaders do score right at the start of the second half. Barnstorming effort And are they still in business? Oh, he's changed his mind. No idea where he's going here, Cockayne, and eventually gives it to Tally to score. Jason Tally reaches for the line, and is that the try that ends Crusaders' season? Approaching the midway point of this second half. Floated ball, play on, says the referee. This could be another one. Will they be caught? Back inside. It's a wonderful Doncaster try. And it's finished off by probably the best player on the pitch in Matty Behrel. Right to the sticks. Chris Barrett through the hands, and lovely back inside ball from Jordy Gibson, who gets it back of Patrick Arvan. That's a brilliant score. What a 1-2. Jordy Gibson to Patrick Arvan, back again, and the inside step. Wonderful score. Beckley again. Patrick Arvan, who's made the difference down the centre second half. They've got another one. Again made by Patrick Arvan. They're not done yet. Down the middle on Thompson. Here goes Arvan. Arvan's making things happen here. They're going to score again under the post. This is brilliant. Tommy Johnson this time. Everything that Arvan touches is creating a try. 3 in a row from Crusaders, and the game is still alive. Receiver at the moment. Here he is now. Arvan to Gibson, giving the ball lots of room, going towards the line and scoring another one. This is unbelievable. Gav Rodden, the scorer. I'm sure Barrel will drill into touch again. Puts a grubber kick in. What's that played out? What's the ref going to say? It's a big shout. He's waved the tackle count clear, and Doncaster will take advantage and score under the post and book their place in the playoff next week. The preliminary final. Boy, they've been made to work hard for this, but the ball stayed alive and Doncaster have got there. It's been a wonderful game of rugby league, and it's Doncaster who will win it.
Good luck to the Dons this weekend, then 2 wins away from the championship. Back to Rovers now. Of course, it's always good to get an away fan's view of the opposition going into a home league game. And here's Colin Butler chatting with Aaron Challoner about MK Dons' start to the campaign.
We are here to chat about the MK Dons game coming up on Saturday. And with me today is Colin Butler from the Milton Keynes Dons Supporters Trust or Supporters Association, as they are known, the MKDSA. First thing then, from a Rivals fan point of view, Tuesday, Ipswich 6, Doncaster 0. Your thoughts, a rival fan?
We, of course, although we quite fancy, our chances up at your place, obviously, being the league's highest scorers, we are slightly concerned that you're a wounded animal and you might react.
I think one thing I want to say, though, about MK Dons, what a manager Liam Manning is, and what a team you have got right now, because as far as I'm aware, this is probably, arguably, one of the best MK Dons teams I've seen since you were back in the championship in 2015.
100%. That's what every fan is saying. I mean, you look around the squad and genuinely, you can't see a weak link in the team. You lose a top player, he's out injured, you got suspension, international call-ups, and you're thinking, who is there to replace him? And you look on the bench and it's loaded, absolutely loaded. I mean, we've still got David Kasumu, who's, a lot of championship teams are chasing him. He's just come back from injury. He played a little 10-minute cameo the other night. We've got Mo Issa, who came from Peterborough, that we actually paid money for. And I say, you can't see a weak link in the team.
What do you think then, prediction-wise, scoreline?
If we get into you early and we score a goal or even probably 2 goals, I think it could be painful watching. I'm going to go 3-0.
So, Charlie, of course, MK Dons travelling to the Keepmoat Stadium with confidence, quite rightly so, I suppose, in third position after a good start. They're the highest scorers in the league, and they've adapted well, haven't they? Having lost their manager, more or less, on the eve of the new season.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. That was a good team last year. But But for us, like I said, it's about knowing what to do on the pitch to make sure we can better them and get a result out of the game. So we're really looking forward to putting in a good performance and bouncing back from Tuesday.
Do you feel that some of Rovers' performances this season have probably the better ones have come against the so-called better teams, I suppose, with the exception of Tuesday night? Sheffield Wednesday away, for a lot of that game, Rovers were well in it. You look at Portsmouth at home, could have quite easily come away with 3 points on that day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that Portsmouth were happy with a draw. The way we played. I also thought with the Plymouth game, how we played, even if we drew 1-1, I think they would have been happy with a draw from the way we played. Obviously, I didn't personally play in the Sheffield game because I was isolating, but I watched it back, and the boys dominated the game for the majority of it. But it's just about turning that possession into chances. And you take the Plymouth game, we created more chances in the Plymouth game than any other game. So it's not all about taking the negatives from things. Yes, we lost 6-0, but we also had three really good performances before that. The Morecambe game, we took 3 points from. Obviously, the Manchester City game, we won that as well. And then we should have won against Plymouth. We were a bit unlucky, but it was a good performance from the boys. So we can't lose perspective and think, it's all down in the dumps. Like we've had some good performances, and sometimes you just need to focus on the positives and take the positives and keep building on them.
Alex, no matter who the manager at MK Dons, have been a good footballing side for a long, long time, haven't they? And the new man's gone in, replacing Russell Martin. It's not been the easiest of summers, given the amount of players that they brought in. Of course, one of them was former Rovers man Max Watters, and they've got a lot of good strikers there, hence why they are the leading scorers in the league.
Yeah, I mean, you only have to look at the other ones. Obviously, you mentioned Max Watters there, and Rovers fans will know a lot about him, perhaps more so for his time spent away from the club. Obviously, when he was at the Keepmoat Stadium, had a few appearances, didn't really do too much in a Rovers shirt, and obviously then left and took his chance at Crawley, and that's how he's been able to make his way back up the leagues, obviously having left the Keepmoat last year. But as well, you've got the likes of Scott Twine, who got a hat-trick on Tuesday night against Fleetwood, and he's a class player for this level. Richie Wellens will know a lot about him as well, having worked with him, I believe, at Swindon Town a couple of seasons ago. And when you've got the likes of Mo Easter as well, Troy Parrott, there's a lot of firepower there. You can see why they are at the top end of the table and at the top end of the scoring charts as well. The manager Liam Manning has obviously come in a couple of weeks into the season and has carried on the good work that Russell Martin did as well. Like I say, it wouldn't have been easy for them to lose their manager on the eve of the season, essentially. But they've responded well, they've reacted, and they'll be more than happy with where they are at the moment.
Charlie, they score a lot of goals, but looking at the game on Tuesday night, they drew 3-3 with Fleetwood. They're clearly quite vulnerable at the back as well. Is that what Rovers have to focus on in the areas they can hurt them?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's just getting a good result. No matter what it takes, we've got to be resilient. We've got to be hard to beat. We've got to create chances like we did against Plymouth. I thought at Morecambe we defended really well. They didn't really have anything in the game. And I think going into Saturday, that's just what we've got to be like. We've got to be determined to get a good result. Whether that's a draw or a win, whichever way you want to look at it, we've just got to be hard to beat and good going forward. And once you do the basics right, once you defend set plays, you win your 1v1 battles and you keep the ball well and you turn them when they need to be turned, then the positive football, passing it on the floor, the patterns and stuff, that will come. But I think just getting the basics right in the first place, winning the game by doing the right things or drawing the game by doing the right things, whichever way the game ends up, as long as we're doing the right things on the pitch, everything else will follow. So that's what we've got to focus on, I think, for Saturday.
Yeah, Charlie, I won't put you under too much pressure and ask you for a prediction, but Alex, heading into what is now another international break following the weekend, how do you see it going and how big a game is it for Rovers going into that 2-week window without a fixture?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be key, isn't it, to make sure a good result's on the board, not just for heading into the international break, but obviously a couple of defeats over the last week as well. So, Rovers obviously need to respond. It could be difficult if you've got the likes of Tom Anderson perhaps not available, and Joe Oluwu as well is obviously struggling defensive-wise, and then the players that are missing up the other end of the field as well. But likewise, John Bostock and Ethan Galbraith are more than in contention, I think, having missed out in the week. So it could be one of those where it is a bit more back to the wall job and just soaking up a bit of pressure while you sort of wait your time to come in. So hopefully Rovers can pick up a win at home once again and maybe nick another 1-0 perhaps.
Alex, Charlie, thank you for your company. Thank you at home for watching on as well. Stick with the lads as they go in search of a much-needed 3 points at the Keepmoat as Rovers take on MK Dons.